that room is exactly how I pictured it. I don't know why. I don't know. I hadn't
Yeah.
really spent a lot of time picturing it, but I'm just like Crystal Method. Yeah, he's going to be surrounded by keyboards. He's going to
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. The cable management is either going to be how is your cable management? Is it a nightmare, or have you actually put the
So it's it's uh it's always evolving. I mean, there's a lot of cables that I've run that I've just let lay there, and then I've come back in and laid over the top of it. I mean, there's a lot of crap in here, so it needs an update. But it's I'd say it's decent. It's not the best. It's not the worst. It's decent.
now? Is this kind of an ensconced kind of bunker, or like if the world ends, are you going to be able to keep making music?
um, it's a pretty secure location. It's not a bunker. It's an actual building in a suburb of Los Angeles called North Hollywood, and it's pretty well protected. It's got big fences and it's pretty well secured. So I during COVID, it was a great place to be able to come in and hang out and feel protected and safe from the craziness of the outside world. But yeah, it's not underground, but it's a pretty indis yeah, what's the word I'm looking for? Indescript.
Indestructible?
Yeah, no, it's very you can't. It's a building that doesn't look like anything. It's
Yeah,
indescript.
yeah,
Anyways,
yeah.
but anyways, yeah. How are you doing?
I am good. Look, this is going to make me sound incredibly professional. Um, I had this obviously booked into Zoom and everything, and then completely forgot about it because I went and saw Sepultura last night, and so I have a
Oh wow.
absolutely just cranked neck. Thankfully, I don't drink anymore, so I'm not hungover. But
Oh
yeah,
wow.
all of a sudden I got this notification like, oh, the Crystal Method starting in 6 minutes. I'm like,
Well,
fuck.
uh, I'm not going to lie to you. I woke up today not knowing I was doing anything today either, but I didn't. I wasn't banging my head till the wee hours of the night.
Oh, cheers. Looks like you and I got the same idea.
Sepultura, huh? That's nice.
But
That's
yeah,
heavy.
say again.
That's heavy.
Yeah, oh yes, this is right. We've got some 9 Inch Nails fan art and everything in the back. But it's interesting that heaviness. But heaviness probably might not be the word to describe it, but it's one of the things that attracted me to your band. And bands like the Prodigy and stuff in the '90s. We actually did an interview. I think it was last year, and talking about my. I don't expect you to remember, but that my introduction to you was the track "Trip Like I Do."
Yeah.
Uh, but also the other one I wanted to ask because it occurred to me after I interviewed you was you guys being featured on the South Park album, Chef A.
Yeah, with the Chef Aid one.
Yes, with the Prince of
Yeah,
Darkness himself.
yeah. That was a pretty wild. I mean, yeah. So it's a Rick Rubin produced track with using our track Vapor Trail um, with DMX, Old Dirty Bastard, and Ozzy Osbourne. Yeah, so it's truly one of the most mind-boggling collaborations that we've ever been part of. That I think that I've ever even heard of. I mean, I, I, we had absolutely nothing to do with it. It was all. It was all. I mean, besides us just sending the stems for Vapor Trail, it was all put together with Rick Rubin and a couple other people. I think even Richard Fortus from Guns N' Roses at that time was somebody that Rick Rubin worked with on some things. It's some of the stories I've heard. Basically, DMX and Old Dirty Bastard were I think DMX had just gotten out of jail for like a sodomy charge or something like that. And Old Dirty Bastard was in his most most, I mean, insane part of his wild career. He was, at that point, he was going by Big Baby Jesus, and he came, and both of them came in. What I've heard is in exchange for a paper bag full of money. Just here's the money. Here's the song. They spent a little while coming up with lyrics. Old Dirty Bastard was like, I didn't, again, I've only heard like little bits and stories about the whole collaboration and how it came together, but you could tell that that Ozzy's vocals were the sort of the rhythms, the rhyme scheme, or the way that he laid out his vocals were inspired by DMX's rhyme style. So it was, I love the track. I definitely, it's one when I play out, people that don't know it are very confused by it, because it's so rocky and it's so raw. I mean, DMX is talking about bending somebody over a fucking bathroom sink, and Old Dirty Bastard is talking about, don't take a picture of me, you steal my soul, motherfucker. I think there's all kinds of there's all kinds of craziness in that song, but it's truly one of, I think it works really, really well. It's an aggressive song.
Yeah,
and I love Ozzy's vocal on it. It's fucking next level. I definitely got to work it in somehow.
The crazy thing to think about though is that of all the loose characters on that track, Ozzy Osbourne is still with us, whereas DMX and Old Dirty are both passed away. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, the one person that's still alive in that is Ozzy, which is pretty incredible.
Now, mate, you returned to Australia last year for the first time in a long while last year. Now, I was due to be at your Brisbane show. However, that night, I got a very bizarre invitation, and that was to go to a bar with the Wiggles and watch all the Wiggles get drunk.
Oh, wow. Okay, well.
So I'm catching you this time at the Triffid.
Nice. Well, I appreciate that. Well, I mean, I think that we planned this whole trip around making sure that you get no Wiggles. Now, there's no Wiggles or Sepultura shows. Hopefully,
100%. We'll get them sorted out. Yes. Because I said to my wife, it's like, I'm really looking forward to Crystal Method. She's like, yeah, but you get to like hang out with the Wiggles. And I'll tell you what, and you'd probably know this because I'm sure you've met a lot of famous people in your time. It's weird to be in public and sitting down and talking to a bona fide famous person, because you've got people start hovering and people start looking at, you can see people are like trying to come in to get a selfie, and I'm just sitting there going, this is really weird.
Yeah. Well, especially you're talking about the children's musical group, right?
Yeah, of course. The actual Wiggles who were in
so they were in town on that same night. Just they were doing a show or something, or they were just.
So what they do is when they tour, I became friends with Anthony, the Blue Wiggle, the old fella who's still in the group. He's one of the originals, and so to keep himself sane, once they've done their kids show, so they're in town doing a kids show, he then goes and plays with his folk band, which is essentially like the Wiggles backing band, but they're all playing Irish, like Dropkick Murphys and Irish folk tunes and stuff. It's a fucking great time. It is an amazing.
Now, what's their? They have an offshoot band called the Cockroaches.
So that the Cockroaches was their original band. They started off, I believe, 3 of them. I believe it was Murray, Jeff, and Anthony were in a pub rock band in the 80s called the Cockroaches, who were actually quite successful. But then they all went and got their early childhood education degrees from uni and became
of the two, the Wiggles and the Cockroaches. I'm going to go with the Wiggles because the Cockroaches probably one of the most one of my least favorite insects on the planet. So that Anywho, so they originally the Cockroaches, and they went to the Wiggles and had great success
Yeah.
in the Wiggles. And now they have another offshoot band that they do. So they were in town with that band that night.
Yeah, yeah. So they were in town doing the Wiggles, and then at night, I just expected it to be Anthony and a few of his mates. I walk in the pub, and the entire Wiggles lineup is there getting on the gas. This
Wow.
is amazing.
Amazing.
Yeah. So anyway, so you came down here. This was the first Australian tour that you'd done in years and years and years. How did the shows go, and I guess how had the country maybe changed in that time?
Well, I can't really speak to the changes. I mean, I've always had a great time in Australia, and this time was no exception. Um, it was Well, first of all, they kept all the shows just kept getting delayed due to COVID. So there was finally this relief, kind of like finally get a chance to go down there, and really excited, and just the turnout was fantastic. The energy of the shows, and of course, it's one of my favorite places to visit, and the crowds are always great. So I was stoked. I was taking it all in. I was doing everything I could to make my way around, and not stay in a hotel room, and get out and experience. I had a really great tour manager who was great at who liked beer as much as I did. So we would go out and always make our way out into the night, whether I was playing or not. So yeah, I had a great time, and I was soaking it all in, because you just never know. Like the last time I think we played down there was 8 years prior. So it's one of those things where you just never know when the next time you're going to be able to come back. And so I had a great time. I took it all in and made the most of it. And when I was approached a few months back to come back down, I was immediately intrigued and got on board real quick when I saw the dates and the lineups, and I know it's sort of the end. So this is sort of fall. Would that be like fall down there in March? Is that like the weather starting?
Sure. That's me saying I don't know. I think so. But
right. Are you in Brisbane?
I am, mate. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Nice.
it won't matter what it is going to be subtropical and very humid when you get down here. It doesn't matter what part of the year. So yeah. Just bring
Okay.
some shorts, you'll be fine.
Yeah. I remember that we stayed at I think, it was in. I think I anchored down in Brisbane for like at least a couple of days, and we the hotel that we were staying at was really nice, and got the chance to go to the pool. And actually, this time my girlfriend is coming down. I'm actually flying her, or at least this is the plan now. She's gonna fly into Brisbane the day after I play that show, and then we're going to hang out there. And I think that when we go to Adelaide and then on to Perth after that. But I think, or maybe there's Sydney I have to look at the schedule again. But and then we're going to stay. I'm trying to figure out where we're going to stay afterward. We're going to stay for 3 or 4 days after Perth. But yeah, I'm again, every time I come down, it's always great. It's all the crowds are great, very appreciative. This is one thing I've always loved. You go to South America, or you go to Australia, New Zealand, you just know that there's an appreciation for bands that go down there. I mean, it's a lot of work, it's a lot of effort, and I get this overwhelming feeling of positive, energy and appreciation and gratitude, and so I easily can feel the same bit of gratitude and appreciation for getting a chance to play in front of those crowds.
Nice. What now, you released the Trip Out in 2022. What plans do you have to follow it up at this stage?
I'm in the studio. We're working on some things that hopefully will come together throughout this next year. It's been I've done a couple remixes for a couple things and that are coming out, and one that just came out a little while back from this the band No Effects.
Mm-hmm.
They have Fat Mike is and Melvin, the guitar player, have this side project. It's actually called Melvinator. It's pretty much all of Melvin's stuff, but it's like a reinterpretation of No Effects tracks that if you look it up, you can look it up, it's the Crystal Method and Hyper remix of a track called Goddess from Melvinator, and it's right up your alley. It's a heavy hitting track. So I'm definitely into doing more stuff like that in the future. But yeah, it's just one of those things. It's like going on an expedition. You're trying to find little bits and pieces to get you going and get your juices flowing and the creativity flowing. So I come in here, and if I'm not working on my set or TCM classic stuff, I'm trying to get sounds and get myself going and work on some new stuff. But I'm really happy with the way the trip out turned out, and excited to go back out and play some more of those songs. But it's that long climb. I'm just putting all my tactical gear on, and I still got to start climbing up the mountain.
Awesome, mate. Once again, thank you very much for your time. Yeah, mate.
This time, just bring me along. Bring the Wiggles to the show next time.
Yeah, fuck it. Why not?